don't develop your mind. Mental culture. Right? Then the Buddha says the world is based on the Four Noble Truths. Yeah? There is suffering. Suffering is caused by craving. Craving can be ended, and the Noble Eightfold Path. Okay? He taught this to the 5 disciples. One of them understood that night. Alright? Then I think a week later, he gave the second sermon, the Anatta Lakkana, where he talked about Anicca, Dukkha, Anatta, talked about no soul, and all the 5 become as saints. When all the 5 become saints, there are 6 arahants in the world, the Buddha and the 5. Right? Then they become monks. Now, when the Buddha was enlightened, yeah, there were only 2. Nowadays we got Sampa. Yeah, Sampa, and you sing Sampauke, stand forever. Okay, right. That time when the Buddha was entitled, there was only 2 paths. Okay, the Buddha and the Dhamma. No, not yet some yet. You wait 2 months to make it some. When he taught the monks, there was the Buddha, there was the Dhamma. In fact, cukup satu jam. When the Buddha was enlightened, before he decided to go and teach, yeah, for 7 weeks he did not eat anything. From the day of his enlightenment, for 49 days, he stayed in one area. He did not need food. Alright? Because he was so highly developed. Anyway, but when he decided to go, 2 brothers believed to be Burmese, Tapasu and Mallika, offered him his first meal as the Buddha. In fact, that is also expansion of Buddhism. Because they offered him the first meal as a Buddha, and then they became Buddhists. They only said Buddhang Saranam, Dhammang Saranam. They did not have to bow 3 times, only twice. But when they became, then the monks became, when the ascetics became monks, and he said, Ehi Bhikkhu, come Bhikkhu, he established the Sangha. So there is the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha. First 6. Alright? Within 3 months, this number increased to 500. Alright? But when there were 62 monks who are arahants, the beginning of the expansion of Buddhism, the Buddha assembles 60 arahants. And he says to them, go, bhikkhus, for the good of the many, for the benefit of the many. Yeah? Go and teach the Dhamma, excellent in the beginning, excellent in the middle, excellent in the end. Let no 2 go by one way. This is very important. The Buddha says monks should not go 2 by 2. Must go alone. Alright? Must go alone when they spread the Dhamma. Spread the Dhamma for the good of the many, for the good of gods and men. Important again. Gods also need to be taught. The gods can be pretty stupid, sometimes more stupid than us. Okay, that's okay about stealing. Okay, right. But it is from a Buddhist point of view, they are a little bit more powerful than us. Alright? They are a little bit more powerful. They also can be thrown out by Sabha people. Alright? Okay. And so then we have the Sangha. Then they go out and start spreading. For the Buddha, he also spends 45 years, yeah, teaching gods and men. The Buddha's timetable was like this: 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. personal business. Means he has his bath and then he has his breakfast and all that. 10 to 2, he goes out to collect Pindapata, Dana, comes back. If goes to a house, he probably gives the Dhamma talk. If not, he comes back, has his Dana. 2 to 6, he teaches the monks. He gives them meditation and all that. Yeah. 6 to 8, he gives Dhamma talk to the lay people because it's still early. 8 o'clock, lay people go home. 8 to 10, he gives Dhamma talk to the monks. Alright? 10 to 2, yeah? 10 to 2, he gives Dhamma talk to the Devas. The Devas come down and he teaches them from 10 to 2. Now he has been going from 6 a.m. to 2 a.m. By this time his body is tired. So what does he do? He does walking meditation. He walks, his exercise is for 1 hour. He walks, right? Then he lies down on his right side like this. Yeah? He lies down for 1 hour. He doesn't sleep. Okay? he rests for 1 hour. Then he wakes up and he meditates for 1 hour. After meditating for 1 hour, he spends 1 hour surveying the world to see whom he can help. 6 o'clock, start again. So only 1 hour a day he rests. The trouble with us is we work for 1 hour and 24 hours we work. Okay, right. So with that timetable for 45 years, he spread the Dhamma. Okay, and he spread the Dhamma in this region, about from Singapore to KL, that radius of that, like that. Okay, he walked all over. If you do it today by bus, it takes 3,500 kilometers to follow where the Buddha walked. Okay, so then when the Buddha was 80 years old, the Buddha passed away. When he passed away, something very important happened, which is to do with expansion of Buddhism. When the Buddha, 3 months before the Buddha passed away, he already announced, I am going to pass. Notice I did not say die. Buddhas do not die. Buddhas just give up their life. They let go. Right? We all hang on to our lives, but a Buddha lets go. That's called Mahaparinibbana. So, when 3 months before he was going to pass away, he said, I am going to pass away. And this message, of course, started spreading. Everybody started sending SMS all over. All right? And he said, I'm now in Rajagaha. Rajagaha is about here. And in 3 months' time, I will come to a place called Kusinara. All right? Kusinara, and he starts walking. It takes him 3 months to walk to this place. When he reaches the place, he dies. And when he passes away, yeah, people have already assembled. But at this time, the 2 chief disciples, Sariputta and Moggallana, both have died. All right? Ananda is not a Arahant yet. So the next most senior monk is a monk called Venerable Kasyapa. Venerable Kasyapa is a very strict monk. All right? He heard and he was on his way. But the Buddha had already died. So when he was on his way, they met a Brahmin. The Brahmin said, where are you going? We are going to Rajagaha. We heard the Buddha is going to pass. He said, don't waste your time. The Buddha has already passed away. Alright? When they heard this, there were 500 monks who were not Arahants. They all started to cry. They all started to cry and say, what are we going to do now, and so on. But in that group, there was one old fellow. He was a monk. Yeah. He said, why are you all crying? Don't cry. You know, when that old man was alive, he always tell you, don't do this, don't do that. So many rules. Now he died very easy. We can do what we like. And he wasn't a young fellow, no. You think old people can be worse than young people. Right? So his name was Subhadra. And he said, no, don't worry about it. We can now do what we like. Venerable Kasyapa heard this, and this is very important for the expansion of Buddhism. Venerable Kasyapa heard this and said, the Buddha is not even cremated yet. Already the teaching is in danger of falling apart and getting misrepresented. I must do something to preserve the teaching. Then they arrived, and that is another beautiful story about how the coffin refused to